Yeah, today's episode is brought to you by DNA Sports Training. If you or someone you know wants to take their game to the next level, then visit DNASportsDenver.com. Visit DNASportsDenver.com right now and sign up for a training session. Check out the podcast or just see what we got going on over at DNA Sports Training. Visit DNASportsDenver.com now and sign up. Yeah, we're live. What's up, gentlemen?
What up? What's going on?
Hey, welcome to another edition. As you can see, we're lacking one. My boy Dom. Shout out to Dom. He's on a INS bus, getting shit back to Mexico. Nah, my boy Dom's on vacation, man. So got some special guests filling in. My boy AJ Gallego's over here.
Yo.
Say what up, AJ.
Whoa, what's going on? What's going on?
Hey.
Glad to be here again.
My boy Matt Sander.
Yeah.
Here at Canyon Fly Shop. Matt, you're going to have to get a lot closer to that microphone when you talk. Yeah, I mean, cool. Y'all made fun of me earlier, you know. And then, of course, Jalen Witt, guide extraordinaire.
What's good? What's happening?
Hey, man. Hey, guys, thank you, for coming on. And, when Dom said he was going to be on vacation, I thought it was a great opportunity to kind of hop on here and talk a little fishing. I know Dom isn't quite the angler yet. We're working on that. We're trying to get him out and try to get him involved and find that passion. But fishing means a big deal to me. And then recently this year getting into fly fishing, and so having you guys on and being able to chop it up with that stuff, and I get to be a little more sponge and absorb some of your knowledge. I looked at it as a great opportunity. So again, I appreciate you guys hopping on and getting on with us.
Yes, sir.
What's been new, man? What's going on with you guys?
Man, everything's good, man. The shop is booming. We just had the Canyon Fly Shop open up here at Cutthroat Barbers and Anglers. They got Matt's got his thing going on over here. I think we opened about 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And man, business is it's doing well, man. Every day we're growing, both in the barbershop and the fly shop. A lot of awesome, cool things coming. A lot of fishing. Got some classes gonna be starting up soon. Got a ladies' night. Got a movies night.
That's what's up.
We got all kinds of cool things.
Dude, I got it. I've told you this a bunch of times, AJ, and I'll say it a bunch more. But I think what you guys are doing is really, really cool. We were talking about it a little bit while I was setting up and while we were getting going, just about how far the podcast, how far the shop in a whole has come since the first episode we did together back in December, when you just opened up, and we were celebrating that, and to where you're at now, just not in terms of necessarily even just the fly shop, but just in the side, where the cutting side, man, like it's beautiful in there, bro, and it's come a long way, and it's changed a lot for the better and for the good, and now they have this extra element here with the fly shop. I know I was already here last week and got some great info from Matt. Or actually, it's probably a couple weeks ago, last weekend, a couple weeks ago. Got some info and got to get out in the water and try some things out, and then just mixing all these people together, bro, with Jalen, with Matt, with the classes you guys are gonna do, just the information you guys give and you're free with in terms of fishing. It's exciting to have, man, especially in the community.
Yeah, right on, man.
On the news tomorrow too. So
yeah, Channel 7 News. I'm sure we'll dive into that a little bit too.
Oh yeah, man, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna definitely get into the fly shop here, Jalen. We're gonna get into what you got going on, because I saw your Instagram earlier today. Looks like you were playing with some piggies out there. So dude, this is what this is all about, man. As I mentioned, AJ, man, the shop is buzzing, dude. Literally 3 chairs are always full, bro. I got to come over here a couple times, get my cut, and I'm always in there and out of there real quickly, so I appreciate you. But man, it's awesome to see new people come out here and you guys doing your thing.
Yeah, right on, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, every day we're growing, we're getting better. I got 2 great barbers in here right now. I got George and Chino, Jerry. I've been blessed with them guys, man. So I hope I could keep them guys a long time. There's a thing in the barber world, man. A lot of the vision for young barbers is to have their own thing, their own barbershops one day, and I'm always a fan of that, and I'm always going to support everybody's dream. But having 2 guys like that are just exceptionally talented has really been a blessing. So I hope I could keep these guys around a long time.
And that's got to help raise the profile of the shop
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
You know, when you know if you can't get a chair with AJ,
Right.
you've got 2 other exceptional barbers that you can get a chair in
Exactly.
with, man. I know that's important to people trying to get in, get them walk-in appointments in.
Exactly. And, I eventually I think I'm going to have one more space available, for another barber, and, that's something that I'm going to explore here in the next few weeks. But, this is going to be a very great, unique place to work. It already has been, hopefully I can start getting barbers kind of lined up to want to work here, and want to create
sure.
here. And, yeah, that's the goal, man. That's the goal. The more barbers I get, the more time I can take off and go fishing.
and not necessarily that these barbers are
page.
like under you, but I'm sure you
Right.
provide tutelage and guidance and things like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what's it like when you have a series of barbers and you've been in the game a long time,
Right.
so like you got other people opening their own shops. I mean, there's got to be a little bit of pride in that. Like
Right.
it sucks losing good people,
Right.
but it's got to be a little bit of pride in knowing that like, hey man, that dude did a lot of time under me, and
Absolutely.
it's good to see him out there doing their thing.
Oh man, I have a list of guys that have worked with me. I don't want to say for me because I believe
Right, that's why it's like a hard.
yeah, they've worked beside me, and I was able to be a big mentor to help shape who they are today. I got my barbers down in South Dakota, Dom and Chops down there that are doing their thing, and to be an influence on them and a mentor to them means a lot to me. To see everything that they're doing over there at Sixth Throne. My guy over here, Jose Medina, who's been a great friend of mine, Jorge and Freddie. The list is endless on the guys that I could, and I don't want to take credit for building their career, but to be able to have influenced them in a way that to help them influence them in a way that they're successful now. I mean, that really is a lot to me, and sometimes that means more than anything, man. Leaving that type of legacy. For other barbers, you know what I mean?
Had you a long list of guys, you said? Paybacks, bitch.
Right.
No. Jalen, how's the
right.
summer been treating you, dude?
Summer's been good. Very busy.
Yeah? Dude, every time I look at your feed, I'm freaking I'm showing my boy Matt at work because it's usually at work fucking off on Instagram. But I'm showing my boy Matt. I'm like, look at this fool. Look at this fool. Look at this fool.
Right.
Right here. Look what they doing right there. And I'm just like,
Yeah, it's just every day for me, but I get everyone does get excited about it, but it's it's just summertime fun for me. It's
Hell
just what
yeah.
I do. When you look at it, it's just my job. It's really a lot of people just have what they're good at, and
you've got a good fucking job, brother.
what you do, and it's just fun. So I wake up, I enjoy. It doesn't feel like work all the time, but
Them long drives out don't feel so long when you're going out, do something you love.
no, if there's anything about me, the windshield time never bothers me.
Yeah.
Honestly, because in the morning I wake up earlier than everyone else, so I'm on the road.
Yep. Beat the traffic.
Live with the guy, you'll find out he will drive forever, and he's like a machine. He will get up at 5 in the morning and.
Well, you look at 5 a.m. is kind of late, with
Yo.
depending on what the
Trust me, yeah.
Hey, I woke up with my boy to go fishing. Not this past weekend, but weekend before. We went up on Guanella and fishing creeks and fished Clear Creek a little bit. And I was like, man, he was like, what time you want to leave? I was like, dude, we got to leave by your house by 6. And then I think back to when we went out to Eagle and think back and I see AJ up at 4:30 on a couple of his little snaps, and I'm like, I'm fucking rookie in this shit. I gotta get up earlier, dude. 6 o'clock ain't early enough, man.
Yeah, not all the time are we trying to prove a point, but I kind of got a saying, especially on public land, because Colorado's been so great to offer us all of this public land. But it's for everyone to come and everyone to share. I'm never going to be mad when someone else shows up, but I definitely take that pride in being the first one there a lot of times. And one day I'm not going to be able to have that drive in me to be the first one there, first one on the water, gloves on.
Yeah.
People asking you, they come down, they're like, coffee's in their hand. They're like, I stopped at Starbucks this morning. What time did you get here? And I'm like, well, you should have seen how the fish were biting when it was dark. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Because
it just happens, and there's a reason why I'm out there that early.
No.
And that's a lot of reason where I wouldn't say I'm good at what I do. It's just my success comes from being the first one there.
Hey, early bird gets the worm.
I like that.
In this
I like
case,
that.
early bird gets the fish. You know, me and Matt were talking about it a little bit while I was setting up too. You know, about just the uptake in people fishing and people getting outdoors. And
Crazy.
you know, COVID when it happened, that was pretty much the only thing you can do was go outside and get out in nature. And so many people took up fishing. So it's good on one end, sucks on some other ends. But if you get up early enough, you can beat the rush.
Right.
Well, I mean, I'm not really too worried about the people on the water. I want everyone to come out and catch a fish.
Yeah.
You know, there's a reason why I fish, obviously, for way more reasons just to catch a fish. But, I mean, the etiquette shows out there. And I'm cool with it because I got funny stuff to say.
Are you out there roasting rookies, bro?
We'll say it.
I'm not going to really roast rookies, but if you're going to high hold me and you have no clue what you're doing, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to start. We're going to put a show on for you.
Oh,
And,
no.
You know, we can just go ahead and start the jailing clinic.
And just start catching fish. and then telling them how you did it.
No, we ain't telling them. No, you high hold me. Go on.
If you know me and Jalen, we will not start it, but if you initiate it,
You gonna finish that shit up.
You're probably gonna regret it in some way, shape, or form.
I mean,
Whether it's your pride or maybe your physical body itself, you're not gonna be happy you started shit with us on the water.
no. I mean, there's a few rivers where I go to, and I mean, I'm the first one there, first one to the riffle, and I'll stand in that riffle. I won't leave all day. People can come. You can come fish right next to me. It's not gonna bother me, but I know the spot that I'm sitting in is gonna be the best, and people. You'll see them stand there for 2 hours, 3 hours, just staring at you. And it's like, I mean, you ain't going to catch fish if you're just staring at me, but, cool. And I'm over here, boom. And,
Dude, that used to always, not piss me off, but it used to always fuck me up when I was a kid. And it's like, you're fishing, you think you got a good spot, and then, Pops is, landing fish, and you ain't getting bites, you ain't catching shit. And you're like, what the fuck's going on? Yeah. I was like, I got to use what he's using. Pops, what are you using? He'll tell me the color. He'll tell me go use that shit. Nothing. He'll get up, go have some lunch. I'm going to go take his spot now.
Right.
Take his spot. He'll come back, fish the spot I was at, catch some fish. Now I ain't catching shit. I'm like, Jesus, what's going on over here, man? So, there's something to be said about knowing what you're doing. Matt, man, congrats on the fly shop. How's it been, man? It's been open 3 weeks now?
Just short
Going
of
on?
2.
Okay.
Just short of 2.
Okay. My math is horrible. I've never been good at math.
Hey, it's all good. 13 days was good. Keep it real. Shop's been good. People coming in really liking the fact that it's something different. Coming into a fly shop where I'm gonna give you a boatload of information. I'm gonna give you good spots to go out and fish. I'm gonna give you the right flies. I'm going to treat you like an equal and like someone that we want to be friends with. We want in the shop hanging out with us. We want doing social events with us, just making it like a community. And I think people respect that and respond to that. And so that's been really good so far. You walk into a lot of these fly shops, man, it's dickhead central, right? The owner doesn't want to talk to you. The guys he hires
definitely.
in the shop are always doing something else. And people just want to be helped when they come into a fly fishing shop.
I think that's the most intimidating thing for me. Been into a couple of shops where I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm just learning. I could tie some knots, and I noticed the shit that Jalen taught me real quick. But some basics. But I've caught fish off it, so I can't even complain about it. But it could be a little intimidating going into a spot, and they're just kind of not looking down at you, but looking down at you a little bit just because of your lack of knowledge.
well,
Exactly.
I do got a good perspective from you from working in a fly shop, too. And, everyone's style is different. And when people come to you in a fly shop, they ask you these questions, and you really try to look at them and figure out their capabilities. And then, they walk in and they do ask crazy questions. They're like, hey, I'm going to go down to the creek and what should I fish? And you're like, yeah, I'll tell them what to fish. You should fish a hopper dropper rig. And then they look at me and they're like, what's a hopper dropper rig? And which is totally fine. I'm here to teach you that information, but it adds up quick. I'm like, yeah, so you need a little piece of tippet here, and then we got to get a fly here, and then a bottom one, and then they're like, oh, you need all that, and you're. But
I got to credit Matt for when he was his whole concept here and his vision. We had a talk here with, before we made any deal or whatever, but he said, I want this fly shop to be like the Chick-fil-A of fly shops.
Okay.
when it comes to customer
Closed on
service.
Sundays?
I guess we didn't follow the pattern on that one. Because there's a couple fly shops that we're not going to name
Right.
names because we don't necessarily
right.
get down with those fly shops, but they're not open on Sundays. So you better believe
Right.
we're here
Yeah.
available for you to
Well,
come
that,
get you what you
that was
need.
his whole vision, is just, that customer service and just
Yeah.
being able to help people and
Yeah.
get people involved with fly fishing. I mean, for a long time, people, they stay away from fly fishing because they just feel like they don't fit in, or it's not them, or it's not their culture. But that's not true. It's just anybody that wants to learn how to fly fish. These guys are here to help.
And that's been my experience 100% since the day I met Jalen,
Right.
since the day I met Matt, coming to the class you had and the hopper dropper class you guys did, which, that's how I was landing the fish this a couple weekends ago.
Yeah,
So
set
you know what I
up
mean?
with the flies and caught
So
fish.
I think you guys have done nothing but display the what it should be, man. Like you said earlier, you want to get people on the water catching fish. You want to see people out there catching fish because we know what fishing means to us. Like what it does. Just me and Matt were talking again earlier about how like sometimes fishing by yourself is just kind of that peace, that serenity that you're looking for, and you get to answer all the problems inside your head that are stewing, and get some good thoughts and meditation. And I think it's important for everybody to kind of experience that.
Sure.
And people get it from different ways, and it might not be fishing,
Right.
but it might be.
Right.
And you might not know yet.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
So, AJ recently, Trout Fest,
Yeah.
brand just big and bold on that beautiful scoreboard there, man.
Right.
Man, how was that?
Man, it was really a really blessing, a true blessing for the shop. Since opening the shop, I've made connections with like people that I could have only dreamed of, like fishing with. I met these both guys point at each other. I met a guy, Kyle Perkins, shout out Kyle, who works for Trout Unlimited here in Colorado. I started cutting his hair, and that's kind of how I got connected with Trout Fest. He was the one running the whole show, and I had asked him how I can get a booth there, and he was like, man, he was throughout the whole process, he was super supportive. We're here to support you guys. I know you're a new business, but we want you guys here no matter what it takes. And so made us feel really welcome. And the whole day was just insane. I told the guys, we're either going to do like one haircut or we're going to do a lot of haircuts. I don't think it's going to be any in between. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to be busy or we're not. And people, are going to either get it or they're not. And for the most part, there was a lot of questions, and but once they kind of understood our vision and what we were doing, man, it was crazy, man. We ended up having a wait list. I was only allowed one chair, a 6 foot by 3 booth, one barber chair. But we ended up getting a waiting list, man. I had my 2 barbers with me, and I had to send JoJo, shout out JoJo, Tejano Joe, Big Rig Joe. I had to send JoJo to the shop to grab another chair so we could put a chair behind the booth and get everybody knocked out. And it was really a great experience. A lot of anglers. There was a lot of people there that weren't anglers, and they were interested as well. But already from that show, we've already brought customers back, and that's huge for us. George today cut 2 different guys from Trout Fest. I had a guy come. It was really a blessing, man. And then one of my dreams and goals, and I've said this to several friends, I mentioned this to my friend Alina a few years ago, but I was telling her, I was like, one day I'm going to have my business on the Jumbotron. And this was before Cutthroat Barbers and Anglers. This is when I owned AJ's All-American. One day I'm going to have my brand, my barbershop brand, some way, somehow I'm going to have it at Coors Field on that Jumbotron. And so when I saw that picture up there, that was just a special moment for me in itself, man. Like,
Sometimes you got to speak that shit into
I just
existence,
couldn't.
man.
I was like, man. And so I had a message her. I was like, do you remember when I told you that? She was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Yeah. She was like, that is just phenomenal. She was like, I remember the day you told me that. And so, man, that was just really big for us, man. The whole show was really dope, and we met a lot of cool people. I made a crap ton of connections there. Trout Routes was right next to us. I got to meet those guys. Cheeky was there. They showed a lot of love. So a lot of different companies were there. It was really, really a dope event. We're really happy to be a part of it, and we look forward to that. And I'm going to say one more thing about that. I actually met the national rep from Georgia who wants us to be on a national scene with Trouts Unlimited. So Still waiting for a phone call or email from them, but she was just like super excited for what we were doing, and so
it's a unique concept, dude.
Yeah,
it's a very unique concept, and I don't know of another one. I've kind of looked a little bit, but maybe I definitely don't know another one here in Colorado.
Right,
and tying in the fly shop now, and then bringing these guys that have a lot of passion for fishing and for fly fishing, and not just fishing but outdoors.
Right.
Outdoor sports, getting these guys involved in various ways, and getting the community access that maybe they wouldn't have had, or
right.
maybe they just don't hit up the website or the phone to try to gain that access. So.
Right.
Jalen, man, you a lot of classes, a lot of guiding. What have you been up to with that, man? Is there anything that stands out over the summer that, as far as trips go, that really hit hard, or brought you a bunch of excitement? Or
I mean, honestly, that was today. Today was not really one of the easier days that you have. Family shows up. They said we got some kids. I mean, I just don't really ask the age. I just grab my kids' waders because guess what? We're taking the kids fishing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they had 7, 10, 13, 18-year-old,
Okay.
13, 18-year-old, no problem. We're good there. 10-year-old, if they can get it down, they're going to catch fish, and they did. And then 7-year-old, I mean, I'm just gonna hook a fish, probably.
Yeah, hook a fish and let him fight
let him.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we did. And obviously, he loved it. He was 7 years old. I mean, I had the smallest pair of waders. I have to tie the boots to his feet. You're hoping
Wrap
there's
him around.
enough room for the little booty on the. That's what you call on the sock of the bottom of the waders. You're hoping that has enough room. And he was walking around it. We took a bungee cord, put it around him twice, and. Oh my gosh, and yeah, we just held on and catch fish. But I mean, the 10-year-old, I mean, it's not the easiest thing on the private property to get the 10-year-old in the river a fish, but you could tell he fished before, which is super cool because someone that age usually doesn't have that focus.
Yeah.
So rigged him up, got him casting. Of course, it's like a whip. I'm like, oh my gosh, if the flies hit the water, just leave them, boom. And he had that set down, I'll tell you that. And,
Heck yeah.
I'm helping one of his sisters, and next thing you know, boom, he look up, he's bent, fish on, 2 guys over there, one guy help him on the reel, one guy get over the net, we're just talking him through it, and there he is, 10 years old, just boom, 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 right-handed, just doing his thing. So, it was pretty cool today, but when you have days like those, but, I mean, there's been a lot of rain this year, so.
Jay, tell him about Guide and Cade.
Okay.
Cunningham.
Oh, yeah.
This dude forgets. He gets the #1 pick out on the water.
Yeah, well,
draft,
yeah, of
2-3 years ago, Cade Cunningham, $50 million.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was like the point
contract.
Yeah, point guard for the Pistons.
6'8" point.
Yeah, he was cool and everything.
Around the
Took
same.
him and his family out, but again, I mean, to me, it's just normal work and taking people out. But yeah, he was cool. He was tall, obviously. I told him to lift his arm up, and damn, he almost touched the moon.
He had no problem high sticking it.
No problem.
That's
problem.
For damn sure.
Probably just a natural high stick.
Yeah,
I
put
mean-
it over there, Cade. Your line's already off the
Him
water.
and his whole family, they were just natural learners. You could tell they all took instruction well. It was all cool. I mean, all the cool days like that you do, everything. I mean, you have too many days like that, you really forget, what goes on. There's something cool about every day, but, getting the young kids on fish, is really something,
Yeah.
The kids jumping up and down, screaming, I got a fish, got a fish, got a fish. And, I mean, you hear it all the time, but, I mean, when you see these kids jumping up and down, I mean, sometimes they fish for an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours. And, I mean, every fish, they're just happy. They learn something. They always tell you.
Well, and if you start them young, they're more likely to continue on with it going forward too in their life.
Right.
Matt, you've opened the shop. You got some new things going on, classes and stuff like that. But you also guide too, right?
Yeah. So it was just funny, Jalen saying with the kids and stuff last night, or Cade's family taking everything, coming easy to him. I had an astrophysicist yesterday on the water. So, you told that guy one thing, it was boom, in his mind, he got it. We're going to have no problems. This guy's going to catch fish. I knew in the first, 3 minutes. It wasn't going to be one of those days where, they're just trying to put it together in their mind. It's going to take all day to get it. This kid was smart as hell. And I was like, all right, this is going to be an easy day. And his dad already fished a little bit. So it's you like those days on the water. Today, right now, water temperature's going up and water levels are going down. couldn't be more perfect time to fish. I mean, Jalen knows on creeks and stuff right now, it's just, if you don't catch 20 fish, you know, you probably need to hang out with us or something. You know what I mean?
I didn't catch 20 fish when I went out.
So did you take my drift here?
I got it. Believe me.
Yeah.
I think something off topic though. Jalen can make a really good breakfast.
Yeah.
I mean, I do love that food on the water, hot
was
food,
dope.
breakfast,
I ain't gonna lie, that was
lunch. I mean, there's a saying out there: you don't bring them to soggy salmon. You gotta cook something good.
Yeah.
People remember that. I mean, and that could be a reason that someone comes back. I mean, don't think that every day I'm out there just catching a ton of fish. I mean, you know, a lot of 1 to 3 fish days, and you're just like, dang, I got that one. I'm happy with that client. You know, their buddies upstream just having a whole day to themselves, and you know.
Well, that's the one thing I noticed that one time going out with you was you didn't hardly fish at all. Like, you were making sure everybody kind of knew what they were doing. You were making breakfast for several different people, you know, and just kind of making sure folks, you know, really got to fall in love with fly fishing, man. And
well, like, to piggyback off of that, like, and that just really goes back out to, like, why I do it. I don't go out there to sit there and watch myself catch another fish. I've caught these fish. I really go out there to have someone see a new experience. Like, you know, my brain's messed up. All I need to see is a bobber go under and a fish running away. And I just think I could just watch that. It's just amazing. I'm trying to look for it in the wood floor right now. Just go away. Yeah. I mean, people say, like, I mean, I could tell when your bobber twitches a 100th of an inch. I mean, I'm just like set and boom, there's a fish. But like, and my brain is just tangled to understand what that bobber's doing and that certain depth of water flow, whatever's going down in that river that day. But I mean, and then like to try to teach a new person is just it's cool.
Dude, I mean, hearing you talk about it, bro, you can definitely tell that, you know, there's passion about it. And I mean, you know, I would love to be able to just go out on the river and be like, hey, this is where you go, right there. Now set that hook.
But you'll get there. But I mean,
right. It's just a number of repetitions, right? Like anything success is found in repetition, right? So, you know, it's just about getting out there and doing it. So it's real cool, man, that you're free with your knowledge and you guys.
But I remember the day that you came out with me. It was pretty chilly in the morning, and we were out there on the riffle. And I knew it was pretty dark, right? We got there early. It wasn't, the sun hadn't hit the water yet totally.
No.
And like I said, the fish hit right before that sun hits the water, and then they're going to stop for a little bit. I know that first fish, I looked down, and you said fish on, and that thing was flopping with his mouth only out the water, and the mouth was big. And we put that in the net, and you were like, that's what we're doing today?
Yeah.
Is that the one I lost?
That very, very first one was the one AJ lost. I wasn't going to bring it up.
Oh, man, I knew you were.
But that's karma, though. You know, I shouldn't have been talking that shit. No, but that's true though, man. Like, you know, it definitely. The backstory to that was, you know, I was talking shit to my buddy Matt, and he's like, you know, he's guaranteed to catch a fish, or he give you your money back, dude. What do you think? Sure, and he goes, yeah. I go. He says guaranteed to land it. He didn't say necessarily like if I caught one, you know, and I got it to my feet, I'm okay with that. That's catching it.
That's
and fucking first fish, dude. First fish I get on, definitely felt like a nice one. AJ tried to rush over to get the net on it to help me out, and fucking fish just spits the hook right there by the net. And oh, dude, it was heartbreaking. And then I thought about it, I was like, that's for talking that shit. That's for talking that shit. And after that it was fine. Like I landed fish, and Jay put me on a bunch of fish that day, man, and put everybody on, man. Everybody was catching fish, dude. Like, it was a great time. So yeah, it's definitely one of those ones where I definitely won't forget as my first fly fishing experience, my first fly, you know, a fish that I caught on the fly, you know, with the fly rod or whatever. So it's definitely one of the ones that I remember, and it lit a little fire for me with getting out on that river more with the fly rod. So,
sure.
There's levels to fly fishing too. I mean, like Jalen said, it's so cool to see like a kid catch a fish. It's so cool to see anyone catch their first fish on a fly rod. Then it's like, it's really cool to see someone catch their first really big fish. Yeah. And it's really cool to see someone go out on the creek one day and just absolutely kill it on their own. Like, you're just with them. You don't have to guide them anymore, and like, boom, 20 fish.
I got a funny story for that too, because if anyone knows, Matt's
This'll
not
be
from
good.
Matt's not from Colorado, and there's a little spot that we like to go to and hit some nice fish. And you want to talk about someone catching a fish that they never caught before? We went into chasing these rainbows and browns that were big, and the first day, it was the first day that I ever took my dog fishing.
Oh my gosh.
And so we took my dog down the hill. I walked him across the water. Like, my dream was to take Riggs fishing. I had never taken him yet. So we went down the hill. I hook into these 2 beautiful fish, take pictures with my dog. I was like, that's the craziest thing. Matt goes that day, no fish, and Matt hates driving early, waking up early. We get home, Matt tells me, he was like, let's go back tomorrow. And I'm like, you know me, I'll go fishing tomorrow.
Let's go.
Matt, dude, and I was like, I'm not driving. Matt drove that next day. We cruise up there, and then same
showed you that
thing.
pic earlier.
I was sitting up there with some friends, you know, looking at the clouds, whatever we were doing, and then next thing
you know what they were doing.
I hear Matt, fish on!
Get your asses down here.
Fish
you
on!
fucking- I know it's Colorado. Get your asses down
And
here.
I'm not gonna lie, where we're fishing, you have to net it with 2 people. You net it with 1 person, you're dead.
There's an ice shelf that you would.
Dead.
I literally could not navigate.
Dead. Like
wow.
no one. If you fell in, it would go.
You're done.
Because the ice freezes over the water, and then
And
what
where the
happens?
chutes, the
That
channel
water will
chutes.
run under.
Yeah.
Oh,
So if you
okay.
fell in, you'd be cold. But I'm telling you, yeah, Matt was over
I mean,
there.
this fish is dead to rights, right? I fought it long enough. It's
Uh-huh.
under the ice shelf, but I'm like, someone needs to get their fucking ass over here because I literally can't net it. It's impossible for me to net it without probably going downriver. You know what I mean?
Yeah, whatever. So I'm sitting there, and yeah,
so
whatever.
net this 26
Said, "Cheech,
inch,
come net this
8-pound
shit."
fish for me, or I'm gonna be pissed. And it was 7 degrees.
Yeah.
Me and Jalen are playing.
Jesus Christ.
We're playing Skippo in the car for an extra hour because we're like, we're not going out. It's way too cold. Let's let the sun come out, and we're playing Skippo, and then finally,
Someone pulled up, and I had to go ahead and put on my
we're
racing
like, all
feet.
right, we are out down the hill. 10 minutes later, I think I hooked into that fish.
I can't.
Jalen found some smoking buddies up from Steamboat that he wanted to go upstream with, so that's why I had to scream for someone.
Jalen got lost in the trees.
Yeah,
Jay,
no,
I
but,
think it was one of those guys too. You didn't even net that shit.
yeah, no, it was one of
Yeah,
the guys.
yeah,
But yeah,
well-
back to the story. I mean, it was.
It wasn't even Jay.
Uh-uh.
It was one of the Steamboat
No.
guys. They came running down. I was like, "Thank you, Lord."
Because I had already been down there the day before, and I had already caught my fish, but I just
Yeah.
want to go sit outside. I'm weird. I mean, I don't even care. I just don't want to be inside, so I'm going outside. So I'm just sitting there. When I'm telling you, it's day 2 of fishing on a relaxed day, after I catch a fish and you see me kicked up on the riverbank, I was sitting there like, boom, back chewing and everything, and then next thing you know, fish on. I'm like, oh, can one of you guys go get that? And then like, here comes some young kid, all happy to see a rainbow in the water, running down there. I'm
He
like,
was running down to me. That's
running
the
down,
damn
and
shit.
he netted it, and I come walking, moseying down there like, finally, we ain't got to come back and do this again.
Bro, you got to be a bad mofo to net a big fish by yourself. And that's something I learned about fly fishing.
Yeah.
I've lost a lot of big fish that I just couldn't get by
tough.
myself.
For sure, I bet, dude. Especially
Oh,
just,
man.
fuck, dude, you get a little tired
Yeah.
when it's the heavier that fish.
And then you got the
working
rod,
that
your
up,
rod
holding
is
that up.
long, and
Yes.
you know what I mean? And like your line, it's just it's
Trying to do like this here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You want to know what's even worse than not being able to net your own fish because of the circumstances? Is when you have a netman that just doesn't understand. I'm telling you, I've seen more botched net jobs on
Botches.
fish, and I'm telling you, the fish is just right there.
AJ.
I lost one for you and Seth.
You just got to set the net under it and lift up. You know, you're fighting it.
No.
If you're attacking the fish with the net, no.
Yo, Seth
Yeah.
did that to me at Jurassic Park the other day at the Blue River. We were fishing all day, nothing, and I finally, boom, I'm on a big fish, too. This thing comes airborne. I'm like, oh, bro. And Seth is like, it's a monster. I'm like, yeah, I know it's a monster. So, I'm fighting this fish, and it starts going towards Seth, and he has the perfect angle to net it. Seth takes a step, ankles freaking sprains, and he goes in the water.
Oh, no.
Hits the fish on the head.
Fucking knocked the hook out for it.
Gone. Oh, bro, I wanted to break my fly rod over my freaking.
I
was so
told him
mad.
too why that happens so much is like everyone gets too damn excited.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
me and Jay, it's like act like you've been there before.
Right.
Like we've netted so many big fish. either whether we caught them or netted for someone else, it's like you just wait, right? You just wait for the right time. But people get in there and they're like so jacked and so amped, all this, and it's like, bro, just
sometimes
chill, get the hell out of the river.
Sometimes you're just gonna slip a hook, you know. Like
and that happens too.
Yeah,
I really don't know what to tell you on some of them. A lot of people really just lose a fish and they want to find something to blame it on. No, it's just gonna slip. But bad net, man, you getting all the blame.
Yeah, you know what? And like that same day, I can't finish the story without. It was kind of my fault because earlier that day I did the same thing to Seth. So,
so he was just getting that revenge on your ass.
Revenge on me, Seth. That one was for you. I wasn't gonna leave that.
Oh, I got you, AJ. I got you. Yo, before we go on, man, I want to make sure I give a shout out to Cutthroat Barbers and Anglers here on 38th and Pierce in Wheat Ridge. AJ the chef leads a team of excellent barbers providing all the latest cuts in men's hair fashion. The fellas at Cutthroat take the art of barbering to the next level. They got a chair open for you. Visit cocutthroat.com and book yourself a service. Shout out to AJ and his team over here at Cutthroat Barbers and Anglers. Make sure you follow them on all their socials, Cutthroat Barbers and Anglers, or cocutthroat.com. Also, we've been talking about it, opened up here in the shop. Just behind where they do all the cutting, you've got Canyon Fly Shop. Make sure you guys come down here, see Matt. Come pick up some of this knowledge. Come see some of the flies he's got, man. Some of this dope gear, really cool shirts he's got hanging up. These nets, man. There's all kinds of fun stuff in here. If you're new to the sport or if you've been fishing for years, there's something here for you. So make sure you guys come check it out. Cutthroat Barbers and Anglers and the Canyon Fly Shop right here at 38th and Pierce in Wheat Ridge. Had to get that out the way, fellas. I got to do that because you know what?
Thank you. That was dope. Thank you.
Yeah, that was good.
Hey, you guys, AJ, you've always shown a lot of love to what we do with the podcast and just and to us in general. And then, like I said, Jalen, Matt, you guys definitely showed a ton of love, and that's why I wanted to put this little thing together in Dom's absence and kind of get out, talk fishing a little bit. On that, obviously, there's some challenges to fishing in the summer, especially late July, early August. The weather gets hot. Water you're talking about the water levels are going down. Sometimes the water levels go down a little bit too far.
Yep.
Puts a lot of stress on the fish.
Yep.
How many challenges has the unusual wet summer and late spring kind of brought on this year? Because I know that's not typical for here in Colorado. How has it, provided challenges in terms of water levels and finding the right spots to catch fish, and has it affected your guiding at all?
I mean, really, it's just there was like probably a 2 or 3 week period. I don't really carry a rain jacket. I don't care for a rain jacket, but I carried a rain jacket. I mean, people are going to come out and fish. People are from out of town. People don't pay money and say, yo, I want to go home for the day. Like, when it's raining cats and dogs and we got to chill, I'll sit in the car, whatever, for an hour, 2 hours, and I'll let them make the decision. But, even if it goes, I'll try to give them a little bit of extra fishing time. That's where the struggle comes in, makes you a little bit tired. You come in trying to be a good person, trying to make sure everyone gets some fish. But, other than it just raining, keeping the rivers a little bit higher than normal, it caused some problems, early runoff. You got a lot of people trying to book, and they're calling and asking, hey, Jalen, I want to go fish the Colorado River. That's my favorite spot.
Yep.
Bro, I'm telling you, Snoop Dogg was on the river for 2 months just making it. It was so high.
I was wondering where he's going.
Yeah.
I was like, was he really on the river? What was he catching?
Is he throwing streamers on the bank?
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah, I love it. No, obviously that's just a running joke. It's not even my joke, I don't think.
So it was Jalen on the bank while Matt was trying to catch a fish. High.
Yes, that's what it was.
And then you saw
laying my motherfucking fish, Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. Nah.
Matt, what about you, man? Is it provided some challenges so far?
Yeah. So what you really run into is just for about a month there, less trips going out in general, especially the people the last couple of years that have got into fly fishing, they know enough now to know. You don't want to fish when it's pouring rain or when the water is really high, So through our shop in Boulder, just less trips booked. And then the other challenges it presents is once you get them out on the water, think about it. All day, every day, your only option is the one bank. Okay, so any pocket on that bank is just getting fished over every single day.
And what he's getting at right there is you can't cross. Just depending on where you're going, you're not crossing. You're not crossing.
Yeah.
So think about it. Every day, whether it's Joe Schmo fishing or Mr. Guide fishing after his work day, or your trip going out, your group going out, you're hitting the same little pocket that everyone's hit all day, every day, because they have zero other options, right?
Got you, okay.
So it's not necessarily that the fish are like super turned off that they won't eat. It's just they've been caught, or
It's been so pressured.
or they're in an area that is unavailable to you, or
Gotcha.
even too at that time of year the water is cold
Okay.
because it's a ton of snow melt. So their metabolism is not high yet. As far as right now it's perfect. Like once it gets to like 60 degrees in the water, they're just churning. They are eating every bug like available to them, and they know that, right? They're smart enough to know like this is when you eat, this is when the bugs are here, and they're just going crazy, right? So once you get to this point, that water starts coming back down, the water temperature starts going up to that perfect level. Now's when it's fun to fish, like Jay said.
Hell
You just
yeah.
go out for a month and a half, and you know, especially if you're on a creek, you just know your clients are getting fish. Like you don't even have to worry about it. You just roll to the river, like with your coffee or with whatever. You're just like, you're not like stressed about getting them on the water like super fast or getting them off the water like at any time. You're just like, oh, it's gonna be fine. Most clients, like, right, Jay, they like call their trips early this time of year because after like 2.5 hours they've had enough fun, right? They've caught enough fish and they're like, we're good. Like,
Yeah.
So
It all goes depends on your people for the day, but I mean, yeah, if you can get people on fish quick, you're chilling. But I mean, you also got your people every now and again. I mean, they're just like
want every last minute.
They don't want to leave.
I pay for this.
We're
I'm
not
getting
tipping you. We're not
every-
tipping you till we get every second of fishing.
I mean, it's like, and it's fine. I don't really
Either way,
care.
it's
But
cool.
like, I mean, I was fishing, just 3 days ago on a trip, and I mean, these people were stumping some nice fish, and I was just like, they were like, yeah, I think we're ready to get off the boats, and I'm like, cool. These people are done. Like, there was a 6-person group. 4 of the people were like, yo, we're ready for dinner. 2 of the people were like, hey, what time is it? Oh, yeah, we're going down to the next lake. We still got 45 minutes. And one guy was like, but the dinner place closes. And they were like, okay, how about we just go down there and catch one more fish? Well, then
You already know that's a wrap.
she goes down there, catches one more fish. It's the biggest fish of the day. I told you we should have stayed longer.
So you guys mentioned the rising waters present challenges. What is it like when the water starts falling, a little bit too low, or it's starting to get a little too hot outside? Obviously, it shortens the window on when you can catch fish or when you should be fishing anyway.
Yeah.
Is that equally as challenging, or is it just a different challenge in itself?
I mean, I'd rather have it low than high. I've always said that for fishing, but like stay out of the middle of the day, both for pressure on the fish and like their mortality and like keeping them safe and keeping them healthy. But then also too, I mean, you just shouldn't be out there in the middle of the day as far as like the sun's beating down on you, the fish are pressured. The fishing's not going to be as good in the middle of the day. Go early in the morning, go late in the evening. Like once it gets too low, too hot.
There's definitely alpine lakes that you can fish all year round.
Creeks.
I mean,
Yeah.
there are rivers that you do have to go a little bit further that you can fish all year round that just don't see those temperatures. But yeah,
I was going to say that too. This season brought a lot of guys on the lake. A lot of more still water fishing too.
Yeah.
I know opening day spinning was great.
kind of forced
I
there
agree.
because of the high water and
Right.
all the rivers and streams and stuff. It's like
Right.
fish a high alpine, fish spinnies, fish, like 11 Mile,
Right.
Antero, whatever.
So you guys kind of went into it with talking about the alpine lakes or the higher creeks and streams. I'm guessing those are the best spots to fish. When it really starts getting hot outside, them are the best spots to fish. Just in general, getting up in higher elevation, getting
Cold
a little bit
water.
cooler. The water's a lot cooler. Do you see a lot of people getting out at them lakes that are a little bit further away or a little bit higher in elevation?
oh yeah, I mean, back in the day, you would catch a cutthroat up in one of these high alpine lakes, and people were just like amazed. I mean, I've been catching cutthroat my whole life, so whatever I see another cutthroat, it's cool. I'm just looking for these big red bands, look like fire trucks. But I mean, the pressure that I've seen at some of the high alpine lakes that I've gone to, and I used to see. I mean, when I say I used to go to these lakes and like park on a piece of dirt, and I was like, man, can I even park here?
Yeah.
But now you go there, and I'm just like, everybody's talking about the lakes, everybody's talking about the names, And even these places where I'm like, nah, that person won't find it, and next thing you know,
There's 10 people.
10, 15.
See, and I guess that has changed a lot, because I remember from just even like 5 years ago, people were less inclined to take that longer drive. So if you can drive out 3 hours to somewhere, you were probably going to be alone or only a couple people out there. Now you drive 3-4 hours and you're like, oh shit, place is full.
Everybody had the same idea.
Adding on to that, I went to Taylor Reservoir a week or two ago, and as a kid, we'd go up there, and it was like you said, 3-4 hours away, so it was hard to get up there. Not everybody went, but dude, I couldn't believe how packed it was. Man.
Yeah,
I was just like, what the hell? Everybody from Texas, and I love Texas, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, where are all these Texans coming from? How did they find out about this spot? But man, it was
as long as they get a cut and come to the fly shop,
that's
pick up
you know
some
what?
flies.
Yeah, that's right. Come on in, come get a cut.
That's right, Texas. We love you.
Let's go.
Come get a cut, get a fly.
Let's get that hair right and get that fly.
But I was
rod right.
fishing. I went and fished the Lower Taylor, and it's always going to be packed down there, shoulder to shoulder. But
You went back down to your family's place.
yeah, so
a couple times now,
I was
right?
going to talk about the Conejos a little bit, because that's the San Luis Valley, southern Colorado is still one of those places where I don't think you get as much traffic, and maybe I've already said too much, but
Yeah. Hey,
But,
it's so freaking far away. You guys don't want to go down
I don't wanna
there.
go
AJ had
down
to travel 2
5
days
hours,
just to get there. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
right.
yeah, and
Well,
then
there's
people
some-
are backwards. They don't. No.
There's some really great spots down there, really great fishing, man. You got the guys from La Otra Banda Ranch. If you get a chance, look them guys up.
Yo, if you can't say that name, you can't go.
I'm not gonna look it up either. Yeah. You're not gonna be able to look
Shout
it
out
up,
Willie
so
and
don't
Chuck
worry.
Atencio, man. Those
So
guys
don't
are the
worry
real
about
deal.
that.
But if you're in those parts, they'll take you on a really, really awesome guided trip on their ranch. It's La Otra Banda. La Otra Banda. Check them out. But no, the San Luis Valley is great. Kind of going back into the rivers just being really full and running really fast. The last 2 times I went through this summer, I was unable to fish the Conejos, which is right in our backyard. It was just too fast, man.
Got you.
I got one hit on a big streamer. I lost a big brown. Story of my life. Seth actually was able to catch it.
I've lost a few big browns in my day too, but
But we got to fish this last time at Los Pinos Creek, and
You
Los
guys
Pinos
caught some
was
nice ones there.
awesome.
Yeah.
man. Nothing
That's what's
huge, but just all day action. And
dude, that's just as good as catching a biggie, right? Like,
exactly.
would you rather catch one nice fatty,
Right.
or 4 or 5, 6 average?
exactly.
I seen the pictures of the creek that you were on too. I mean, those fish had to have been squared right up in that bubble line, right where they were supposed to be.
Yeah, it was.
I mean,
And we were hitting them in the fast water.
Yeah.
I'm talking I took some of the lessons that this guy taught me, and I was, I shortened up my indicator. We put a little heavier weight on there. And
They move up into that fast water.
we literally had my indicator maybe 8 inches above my fly.
Doesn't matter,
It
yeah.
was boom, boom, boom. It was
Nice.
one after another. It worked out really well for us.
Hell yeah, dude. So AJ, let's talk about things coming up, right? That's what I
Yeah.
want to get into with you
Yeah,
guys.
definitely.
I know you guys got some classes coming up. Obviously some fun stuff coming up. But with you, I saw the other day on Instagram, you had Channel 7 up in here.
Yeah. So that I got to give more credit to Matt for that. Matt had a connection over there. He was able to get that connection.
Chica action.
Yeah,
Hooked us up
yeah.
with the news segment.
Yeah, so
That's what's up.
But yeah, they ended up doing a segment on the fly shop and the barber shop, which is going to air Thursday on Channel 7 at I think sometime in the morning.
Yeah,
Thursday,
6:45
Thursday,
tomorrow
July
morning.
27th.
So by the time this comes out, it's going to already have aired, I think,
Yep,
because I'm going to drop this. It'll probably be Sunday
Yeah.
morning.
So you could
But
go on Denver 7 and look up the video or their YouTube page. and
it's at
look up-
denverchannel.com, I believe. Make sure you guys go look for that,
Yeah.
because I'm very interested to see. I mean,
Right.
you've had a couple of different little videos shot and just little things going on here, and dude, it's awesome to see. You're buzzing over here, man. You're
Right.
buzzing
Yeah.
you're buzzing like the woods when the
sure.
bugs are out, just making all the noise they want, man.
Right,
So. It's very, very cool to see, man, and I think everyone just dreams to find some success, man, and it's good to see people are taking note to what you guys got going on over here. Jalen, what about you, man? What you got going on coming up?
guiding.
Guiding?
Every day.
Guiding.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, nothing new. I mean, but it's summer. That's a summer rip. I mean, if I ain't got a trip booked, I'm looking to book one, and I'm trying to stare at that water.
Is there
set.
any trips coming up? And you don't have to give like details like who's, but is there any trips coming up that you got on your calendar? You're like, yeah, this is gonna be a good one.
Shit, tomorrow, because
Yeah.
every day's a good day. I mean, I'll tell you, yeah, tomorrow I'm going to private property.
Yeah, so he's like on Disneyland every day. He's just
Yeah,
he's
I need to
living
talk
the
to you
dream,
about
man.
that, man.
Right. I mean, it's not always easy every day, but I mean, it's rewarding. And I mean, it's less pressure, so obviously it's easy. It's meant for people to have a higher success rate. But
And if you got an extra 6 hundos sitting in your pocket, he'll take you.
Go take that. What about, wait, how's the tiger trout up there this year?
tiger trout's good.
Still
Always.
pumpkin tiger trouts everywhere?
Always,
All right,
yes, yes.
okay. There we go. That's why you want to be there. That's why we all want to be there.
I mean, I love those fish. Those are awesome.
Those
I
are
caught
like,
a tiger trout this year that I thought it was a lake trout, and
it was
I
like
got schooled.
pale, yeah.
And like some guys were messaging me like, dude, I've tried to fish for those for 20 years and I've been unable to catch one. So, and I just caught it messing around, just fishing.
I've only seen one caught. My son, we were on our way to Grand Junction, and I stopped at Officers Gulch. It's a place that I've always fished as a kid.
Yeah.
Fished there tons of time as a kid, and my son got into a little. It was probably like 6 inches, 7 inches, but
it was a tiger.
yeah.
Oh, your son caught it?
Yeah, my little guy
It
caught
may
it.
have been wild.
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine so.
A 6-inch?
It was
Where
acting.
there's brookies and browns?
It was
At a
acting
creek?
out for sure.
Okay.
It was.
The doubter always.
I don't think they stock Officers Gulch. I don't know. I've
I
never.
thought they did with brookies.
Do they?
Brookies and rainbows?
I don't know. I'd have
No
to go
say.
look.
No say.
All I know is it's what we caught,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
and then we can, it was great for my son because he never caught one. But yeah, those are cool looking
Very
fish,
cool.
bro.
They're really
Those
cool.
are definitely cool looking fish. I think that cutty that my boy Matt caught, that thing had a lot of color to it. It was beautiful.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah.
beautiful fish. I like catching brookies. The biggest brookie I caught a 2-pound brookie up on
Yeah, I
on
remember
the
you
Grand
telling me
Mesa,
that, man.
out
Yeah.
in Grand Junction.
Yeah. That's
So out there, it get like 105
Orange
degrees.
belly.
We go up to the Mesa and fucking hooked into a little fatty, bro. And
Yeah.
it was cool. I don't eat fish, and I ate this one, cooked it up, and so delicious, dude. But I mean, it was fun, bro. Like those.
Really?
Yeah, I did, Jay. I'm sorry.
He's going to be on iFish Colorado.
Yeah, I know.
Listen, Jalen.
I hate it.
Hey, this is before I knew what I knew, right?
That's great.
Hey, man. No, but
Look at Jalen.
No.
Jalen's like, I'm about to stay.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I like to eat trout. I don't, not necessarily. I haven't cooked one up in a long time, but there was a big post on, you guys probably saw on the Facebook page about this, but. It's legal to harvest trout. As long as you're following the Colorado
No problem.
rules. Like, if you want to keep them, keep them.
Keep a
You know
trout.
what I'm saying? Like, put one on the grill, fry that bad boy up. If it's, there's
There-
nothing wrong with
there's
that,
like a
man.
fine line, right? Like there's like a fine line between where a fish has earned its time in that water, like
Right.
and versus like the fish hasn't been around long, and I try to toe that. I don't eat fish. Like I'm not a big fish person. I'll fuck up some cod here and there, some halibut here and there, but I'm not a big fish person. And I think with catching that one, I've always heard like brook trout and brown trout taste different than rainbow trout, and I think that's
All
pushed me
day.
off from rainbow. It's like I've tasted rainbow trout, and I'm like whatever,
yeah.
And this one was unique, and it had the pink meat, almost looked like salmon. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. Like if it's a monster, that thing's earned its right to live in that
Right.
water. I'm putting that thing back.
Sure, of
I've
course.
caught in 5-pound trouts that I put back in the water before up in Wyoming, and it's just like, hey, I'm not gonna eat it,
Right.
and I can take a picture of it if I want to get it mounted,
Yeah.
right? Like so.
Exactly.
But I feel you, Jay. I feel you.
No.
I feel you. You harvest fish out the ocean.
I mean, I've harvested trout before. I mean, it's not really.
Hey, as long as you don't leave
Hey,
them,
I've seen rigs eat one whole. Just
as long as you don't leave them
Brown trout
joints
down
up
the
in your freezer.
Right. Yeah.
Nah.
Let's not go there.
getting freezer.
Let's
burn.
not go there.
Of course, I've harvested.
That was a lot
No, I'm
of
just
lot of trial and error. A lot of we all learn, right? We all grow as.
But I think you learn a different respect for the fish. Though.
Oh yeah.
I think as you learn more, I think you gain a different respect for fishing, but also
Right.
like the ecosystem too. And I remember it started young with pops is like pick up your trash. Like
Right.
if you're coming to fish, we're sitting at the lake. we're leaving it better than when we got there.
Exactly.
Pick your shit up and pack your shit out.
Yep. Exactly.
You know, and that evolves into other things, man. Because I think ultimately, I'll speak for you guys because I know just from talking to y'all feel this way. But I think we want as many people out there participating, you know, and we want them to have a great spot to be able to fish and to learn how to, you know, desire a passion for angling. And I think that goes hand in hand with that, and you know it's going to be the same way where you want to be able to preserve some of these big ass fish for other people to kind of take in and catch and stuff.
Exactly.
I mean, I'll tell you one thing. I just don't want people to be looking at dead fish on the river shore where I'm trying to fish.
Yeah, that shit. Well, and I think people that goes to like people not knowing how to handle fish either. Too.
Just take care of them.
You know how to get them off the hook, keep them in the water until you're ready to take the hook out. You know. I think making sure they're swimming when you're releasing them. You know, we've all botched releases before. You know, and I think it's people learning how to. There's more to it than just putting some dough on your bait on your hook and throwing that shit out there. You know, there's a whole lot. It's a whole different ball game when you start getting into just preserving what's already here, preserving these cutthroats. You know,
some days fish are just gonna die. I was up down at Deckers, this area, up in the, and I was just fishing the riffle with some dry flies. Boom, I hit a fish. I'm bringing it in, and I hit it like on his bottom jaw in a little weird area. I had a single dry fly on that day. I took my hook out. I'm telling you, I must have hit just like a bloody little artery in that fish. And it just
gushed.
Oh my gosh! I was like, yo, I caught you on a dry fly. It'd be one thing like if you swallowed a squirmy. That happens like maybe once a year. A fish will try to eat it like they're naturally supposed to. It hit the back of their throat. I'm telling you, I hit a fish on a dry fly the other day, and I was like, oh man, that fish down. I tried putting him in the water. I put him in the riffle, start swimming away. Boop, 3 minutes later, I'm like, oh man, he done.
Still like shit too.
Dude, I'm telling you, people, they were like, man, you really tried for like 25 minutes with that fish. I'm like, they were like, it was only like 14 inches. I'm like, hey, bro, I really wanted him.
Let me ask you this question though, see if you guys can answer this, because as a kid, obviously as a original spin cast bait fisherman, we that happens often where you're fishing with a snell hook with some power bait and a worm, and next thing you know that hook is down halfway down the fish's throat. Now, I later on in life, if you're fishing that way, was taught you just cut the line and let the hook just go naturally.
Go out.
That the fish, the trout will actually naturally digest the hook.
Yeah, like it'll rust out.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you guys want to. What do you like?
It's a tough one. I mean,
can it naturally digest a fly? You guys think? If it goes,
I've always heard that it kind of disintegrates to the
that's
point
what
where
I've been
it kind of
told.
like comes free and like releases from them. Not that they necessarily like ingest it and stuff like that. But I guess we need a.
But everybody's caught a fish with line hanging out of its butt, right?
Yeah.
You're right.
I've caught a fish with a fish full of bait. You know?
But what I'm saying with that line hanging out, I mean, that means there's a fly stuck in there.
Yeah.
Who knows how long it's been in there? So, I mean, to a point, I do believe that, some of these hooks rust off, break off, and all that stuff. But, I mean, if these bait fishermen are fishing in an area and they say that I got to cut this hook and that fish is in regulation, you got to keep that fish. And even if you're having a good morning, you're like, I want to keep on fishing today, like, that's your fish to keep. But I mean, if you're fishing in an area if you're fishing in an area where you have to release that fish, and I don't know, it's tough because if it does die, those fish float up right away. Those birds see it, and I'm telling you, those birds are eating them hooks next.
Yeah,
I don't care if a hook disintegrates or not. That's
a good point.
So I'm at the point where, depending on where I'm at, I mean, if I kill a fish, just throw.
I think we need to get the Division of Wildlife in on this question.
Yeah, get some expertise.
Get some expertise is like, say on a
science experiment.
Gold medal waters, that happens. Was it better to throw the dead fish back in the water, or is it better to keep it? That's a great question to bring up. I
know. Depending on where you're at on gold medal waters, I hope you're not fishing bait.
No, I'm talking about flies. So it swallows a fly, or like you have that same instance where you hit an artery and that fish is.
But I mean, here's like another thing when you're fly fishing, and depending like if you're on the water, if you're on the dream stream, say next thing you know, boom, you kill one of these beautiful rainbows that aren't supposed to really come out of there. if you know in your mind you weren't really doing something wrong, and someone's coming out to check out that fish that it's not mangled in the face and you didn't beat it up, and I hit it with the dry fly and I killed this 4-pound, 3-pound rainbow that was so beautiful, and I could show that like I didn't mishandle this fish or have it out the water, and, you know. But if you come up there and they're like, yo, yeah, you were using a spinner and you couldn't get it out, and you're just ripping its lips off. It's like,
Yeah, it's a little bit different,
so
right?
it's, you know, it's, I guess it's probably time and place with them, but I mean, they're watching.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, again, it's important to educate yourself too. It's important to figure out what you should and shouldn't do. And I've known plenty of people that have been on gold medal waters fucking with a worm or some stupid shit. They're like, "Yeah, I caught this off a worm." Like, dumbass, like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
you ain't supposed to be doing that shit, And I think that's, to me, that's like the biggest problem is when people either like we used to see dudes, and my dad used to have friends that do this shit. They'd bring all their kids with them fishing so they can catch fucking as many trout as possible. You know what I mean? Their bag limit went from fucking
6 to 18.
yeah. You know what I mean? And that's poaching.
Yep.
That's no different than poaching, especially if the kids don't give a fuck about fishing,
Right.
or if the kids don't care about keeping fish. Like, that to me, that's poaching. And in the same way, fishing, with illegal bait on waters where you're supposed to be fishing flies and lures only. Like,
Right.
it's the same thing, man.
That motherfucker got to feed all them kids too.
Yeah.
So, give that homie a little grace.
This was
you got 6 sons out there. We're eating.
This was like in the 90s, bro, where you can feed. This was in the 90s where you can go to
Right.
Taco Bell and feed a family of 6
Yeah,
for like
99
$5,
cents,
dude.
yeah.
Like $5, you feed the whole fam, bro.
Now it's like $10 for.
Fucking $5 for one thing if you're
Dang.
lucky.
Quick little story. I was fishing one time. I was up there at where was I? Right there, not Carter Lake, right above Carter. Was it Pinewood?
A flat iron and pine wood.
I walk up to this dude. He's got the same thing, about 10 kids, half of them throwing rocks in the water. I look down at his stringer. He's got about 20 suckers on that thing.
Oh, my God.
I was like, "You taking those home, doggy?" Yeah. He goes, "I'm killing them." And I was like, "Oh."
We used to catch the suckers, and then we'd use the sucker meat to try to catch muskie.
Yeah, muskie
out of
or
there,
lake trout,
out of Flatiron or out of Gross. Like, we used to buy the sucker meat to go to Gross, but when we'd be at Flatiron, it'd be the only thing that you can really do with those things, besides putting it back.
I catch one, cut my line, throw it in the bushes.
They'd always fuck up, dude. They'd always get like
hate
they'd always get like hooked, all fucked up, dude. And I remember one time we were at Flatiron and my little brother caught him a nice ass sucker, dude. It was a really nice sucker.
It's a
and
brown.
my dad's like, "You're not keeping that." And oh, dad, like fucking gave him this whole thing. So finally, I don't know how we convinced my dad to let him keep it, and fucking had it in the bag, bro. My dad refused to put it in the cooler. And so my brother snuck it in the cooler. The next day, though, we come, dude, and something got into the fucking cooler and ripped the bag up, and the fish was gone. And so my dad's like, "Yeah, I think a raccoon got into the cooler." And now that I got older, I was like, "Hey, Pops, you fucking got in that cooler."
Pops was the raccoon. At night, you just see him.
Hey, that's how he fucking knew, right? That's how he knew. It's like, man, I know raccoons got that little extra, that little opposable thumb almost, Pops, but I definitely ain't getting no goddamn locked cooler, man.
Pops was cracking a beer.
Hey, Mario, I'm sorry that you had to find out this way, but I think Pops threw your fish away, bro.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh man, Matt, what do you guys got coming up here in terms of classes? I know I've seen a couple things online. I know y'all got something for the ladies coming up.
Yeah, we got a ladies' night class.
Scoot up a little bit though, Matt. Yeah.
All right, wine and charcuterie. That was actually AJ's idea. That was brilliant.
That's
right?
classy right there.
Get the ladies involved, have a little fun, not just like your normal fly fishing class. Let them hang out together. Some wine, charcuterie, all that good stuff, and then we'll just go into basics of fly fishing, why women, it's important to have women on the water and more women on the water. And, I do a lot of trips with women and they end up loving it. They're
Heck
like,
yeah.
"Wait, I don't just throw my line in the water and sit here." I'm like, "No, we hike, we move, we're constantly doing stuff." So they absolutely love it. So we got that coming up. And then obviously just growing the shop, the more people that come in here and buy stuff, you'll see is the more stuff I'm going to start carrying as far as we got cheeky reels coming in next. We got a whole nother rack of flies coming in next. We got a re-rack of shirts coming in. We about sold out of shirts.
Got that big size coming in too.
Yeah, I
I'm
got
already
one for
ready.
you coming.
I'm ready.
Yeah. The hats too, same thing. Did another order on Abby Paffrass hats. So, yeah, we're gonna just keep it moving, keep it growing. Hopefully the guide service comes along like in the spring or summer for next year, and then yeah.
And you guys can see all these
bases
shirts and
covered,
shit,
yeah.
man. These shirts are super cool. Them and hats, like.
I want to just add on to the ladies class, August 3rd. We have Dionisia Gallegos with Resident Realty. My sis is going to be sponsoring the charcuterie board, and she's really excited about that. And also my auntie, Dominica Ferguson, she's going to be setting up a little pop-up in here as well, promoting her business, which is she really focuses on shakes and protein shakes and stuff like that, and the whole health stuff. So she's going to be setting up her little pop up here. So shout out Auntie Doe. Look forward to having you guys here on August 3rd.
A whole community affair, man, and that's what I love about it, bro. That's what I love about the barbershop, right? That's the community, man. I sent you that thing. Ice Cube on the Rogan podcast talking about how the barbershop was just like
that was dope.
It was like the community, man. Like that's where the fellas can come and be fellas and unwind and kind of relate with each other on everyday problems. I feel fishing is the same way. Fly shop, I'm sure you guys have stories where you relate with other fellas. Fishing stories that roll into stories about life, that roll into just like, hey, you know what? I needed that uplifting talk today because it did a number for me. So
I need to fish because the girlies are driving me crazy. Talk,
and that's what the barbershop fly shop is. It all integrates. It's like a melting pot.
Yep.
It's a place where you're going to come get a haircut. You're going to tell a story. Barbers have always been known as therapists anyway. This is a man's therapy to come in here, talk fishing, like I said, to talk fishing, tell a story, get a cut, and buy some flies, man. It's a very unique concept, and we're excited for the road ahead for sure.
So before we hop out here, guys, we got a few minutes still. We've been going for an hour already. It just flows. It goes by fast.
Way fast.
Yeah. But we were talking a little bit about rivers and lakes and ponds. Like, is there a preference, one versus the other, or is one better than the other in terms, because a lot of more people are getting out on lakes with the water being so high recently. What is your guys' thoughts on that? Do you favor one other than the other? Is it different times of years that maybe dictate that? I see you guys.
I'll start to go this way, and I'm just gonna because just being new to fly fishing over the last 5 years, it's really been an obsession for me and really taken over, especially for me, rivers and creeks, but. As a longtime fisherman, I still. We were just talking about this earlier. I'm still an avid ice fisherman. My guys at Ice Fish, man, I love going with them. I love hitting Granby. We've made Taylor an annual 3-year trip. January trip for us. So I still do love the lake stuff. I love to ice fish. And then I got my young kids. Especially my youngest Jesse. I'm still trying to get my older son to like fishing more, but he's a school guy, math guy, but Cash loves to fish, and so getting Cash started on his spin cast stuff, and eventually I want to get him on a fly rod. But I love it all, but really fly fishing for me has become the obsession. Kind of like these guys, they've been doing it a little longer than I have, and I've been able to learn a lot of great things from these guys, especially Jalen. Hopefully, Matt and I can get on the water a little bit more coming up, but. For me, I think it's just like, smaller rivers and creeks, man. That's really just kind of been my obsession.
Well, like what he said, that to me and like to most people, that's the heart of fly fishing, being on a creek, all alone, bunch of fish going crazy, more aggressive fish. But AJ will think this is funny. My roommate, Manal, she always asks me if like I'm a titties or an ass guy. Hey. And I'm like, I'm not.
Gorgeous, by the way.
I'm like, I'm not choosing between titties and ass.
With all due respect.
I mean, so like.
Yes, both, please.
Yeah, check. Like, I'll take both of those. So for me, it's just timing, right? It's like, there's nothing better than being at a high alpine lake for blood red, cruising cutthroats, like Jalen said, big fire truck cutthroats. There's nothing better than being on a canyon creek where you can catch a grand slam and you're catching 40, 50 fish, cutthroat, rainbow, brook brown, get that granny in a day. And then there's also nothing better than hitting a big river when the timing's right and you're just smashing big fish all day and your arm's tired at the end, your forearm's tired, your shoulder's tired, you caught 30 big fish, you fought the hell out of them all day. So it's like titties, ass, all that kind of stuff. It's like I'm not picking. Like, you're not gonna make me pick.
Hell yeah, I got that. I feel you.
Yeah. It's all good. Yeah, I want it all.
Jalen.
I mean, really, I just like lakes. I mean, I go to any rivers, whatever, but come down to it, I like to just go tug on a fish out of a lake because it's such a bigger body of water.
Harder to fish.
Yeah, it depends on where you go, but like I mean, my favorite lake is in Nevada.
Okay.
Pyramid Lake. You gotta know how to fish, like you know. But I've seen miracles happen.
Okay.
Jalen does a little bit of walleye and bass stuff too. His dad's a walleye tournament fisherman, actually.
No shit, huh?
He likes that stuff, but yeah, I'll dip into warm water. It's fun, but I mean, AJ was asking me about some other people that are in the fishing community, and I've seen them around before just because they catch a lot of fish, but they catch carp.
Oh god,
Carp's a big thing nowadays, though.
they're fun to fight.
Huge.
I never caught a carp actually, but I wouldn't mind going down over here by Elitch's and catching one.
We were at Lon Hagler. You know where Lon Hagler's at? Up
Yeah,
in Berthoud? We were up there fishing, and I thought I hooked into the fucking trout of a lifetime, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I got me a nice.
man.
And it was on a lure and everything, dude, which blew my mind. And then it got close, dude, and I fucking seen that golden tail come out the water. And I was like, oh, and the scales. I was like, oh, son of a bitch, it's a carp.
That'd be the worst
It was still a
thing.
fun fight, but
I mean, it'd be the worst thing. Like you're fishing streamers, a lot of people be like, "Oh man, these carp just eat these little dries and these little cotton flies and these little mop flies and all this stuff." And next thing you know, I'm over here in the river trying to throw a streamer, catch a fish. Next thing you know, I'm tight. I'm like, "Heck yeah, I got the fish of a lifetime out this river." It gets closer, and I got a carp that done sucked in a streamer.
oh wow,
Upset.
I know.
I didn't want to touch my fly anymore. I got the hook out without touching the fish. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Why you hating on that carp for, dog?
Trout boy.
But don't underestimate bass on the fly too. That's
Well-
I go to South Florida all the time for peacock bass, and like Jalen gives me a little hate for it, but like there's not once you do it, just shoulders and just the power and the speed that they come at a streamer and then the power that they fight away with initially, and they're badass looking fish. Dude.
Yeah,
you think
they're fucking mean.
You think you're in Brazil? Those things like
And aren't you going to
hammerheads
Brazil?
and-
Speaking of Brazil, aren't you?
Yeah, we got a big trip in November going to Brazil.
Sick.
For peacock bass. So hopefully there'll be some 20-pounders on that Insta soon.
Aggressive ass fish. I wouldn't
20
mind
pounders.
I mean,
20
You want me to
pounders.
go 30,
bro.
20 pounders.
You want me to go 30?
You ain't catching no 20 pound bass. You ain't catching no 20 pound bass.
Hey, you
Does
mentioned
18 count? We wanna move
7.5.
Oh gosh, we ain't going to Brazil if it's that.
19.5. Hey, you mentioned walleye earlier. I used to have this dude that I work with. He is a fly fisherman. He used to talk about going up fishing Chatfield where the river comes in March, early in March, because the walleye would run up river right before they spawn. You guys ever hear about that at all?
I haven't. I don't know a whole lot about walleye other than
No.
the walleye fillet I had the other day at Lakeshore Restaurant was off the chain.
Well, I heard walleye's good eating.
It was good, bro. It was the first time I had it. It was good. But anyway, no, I don't know too much about that, but I've heard a lot of good things about walleye fishing at that reservoir, though.
Yeah,
I
I know the
mean-
reservoir. I have a homie that fishes the reservoir. He catches nice walleye out of there. So I imagine they probably don't go up the river though.
I won't say specifics, but if you can find a lake or with an inlet and outlet, you're good. So
Yeah,
the only reason I don't name specifics because pretty much all of them got it.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, of course you're gonna catch fish in these places, but where you find some moving water, you're gonna catch some fish.
hell yeah. Y'all hear that? Find some moving water, catch some fucking fish.
Anywhere there's water, I'll fish anywhere. You guys don't remember that show, Channel 25 Altitude, about 10 years ago.
Fucking out. We don't get altitude no more for the last 3 years. Fuck altitude. No, I'm just playing.
Zach knows what I'm talking about. Shout out Zach Z.
Yo,
Zach
shout out
G.
to Zach. Yo, before we get out of here, guys, any exciting new things coming up for any of you that you want to plug, promote, drop? You know, if not, no worries. But this is the opportunity to go ahead and do so.
Not really, other than my boy Terrence Crawford about to
Who
be
you
the
got?
reigning champ this Saturday. I'm going T-Bud, man.
Let's go.
You know, I'm going.
Let's go.
I like them both. I've seen Earl fight actually twice. I went to both fights when he beat up Danny and Mikey Garcia in Dallas. So you know, I am a fan of Earl, but I think T-Bud is just going to be a little too much for him this Saturday. Shout out T-Bud Crawford, come see us.
Let's put Matt on the spot because he's talking about how big of a boxing fan he was earlier. No, I'm just fucking with you. No, Matt, when I was telling you, though, that there's a few fighters that I follow these days, and Crawford was one of those fighters. Man. I definitely got him going in that one, too. And I'd ask Jalen, but
We already know.
he already know. Hey, you know, it blew my mind last time we had Jalen on because we started talking about Tom Brady. And he legit didn't know what we were talking about in terms of Tom Brady. And that's when I knew Jalen was about his shit.
That's when you know Jalen.
Oh, no, I'm
likes
telling you,
football.
like, when I tell you Sunday, when football Sunday starts, and then I look at when the football game starts, I leave right when the game starts, right to the river.
Let's go.
Because guess what?
No one's there.
All the losers watching TV.
Hey, I'm
Hey, you can't shoot him on the couch. You can't catch him on the couch.
There you go.
Oh my.
There you go. All right. Well, with that, fellas, man, again, I appreciate you guys hopping on, man. We're going to get ready to shut this thing down. But as usual, before we get out of here, I got to make sure I give a shout out to Inkless Laser, brand new tattoo removal shop opening up here in the Denver area. Shout out to my cousin Lorenzo with Inkless Laser. Shout out to Icon Sales and Boxing, Anytime Flood Restoration, the Play Harder podcast, my boy Zach G, Rebel Promotions, Black Sevens, Genesis Catering, Lash All Beauty, of course, Cutthroat Barbers and Anglers, the Canyon Fly Shop, the Westminster Youth Football Association, and as always, DNASportsDenver.com. Yo, we're out, man. Peace.